So somebody like you, for instance, who understands the technology and understands a little bit of IT, could go in and continue the enhancement or develop your own systems out of it. I actually wanted us to quickly just talk a little bit about that. Then I can check in on some of the comments that are coming through. Just encouraging the guys listening in. Please feel free to post any comment or question you have. I'll be jumping onto that in a bit with Amos. Okay, so Bitcoin, we've done Bitcoin. That's the first, sort of
blockchain
proper,
system.
Mature global execution on blockchain. What else is coming that could affect our lives?
So actually, I will talk on three major things. So I will touch on banking and finance. Okay. And then I will go on trade, and then I'll finish with data security. So in terms of banking and finance, just 2 months ago, not 2 or 3, in June 2020, the Financial Action Task Force that checks on the global financial system, they released policies around central bank digital currencies. So this is actually a new currency that will be another maybe sister of Bitcoin. They are called CBDCs. They'll be issued by the central bank of every country. And it will allow actually that intercommunication. So for example, like right now, we're having issues of inflation of money. Maybe we cannot even control, we don't know where the money is. So now with central CBDCs, actually that's the correct one, CBDCs, people can actually be in a position to, like now these issues of fraud. Yeah, I'm sure this COVID issue to make now, COVID-19.
Yeah, fund. Wondering where the money is from.
Yeah, so actually the financial guys, maybe around IMF and the rest, they've pushed for this so that let's say for example, like if CBDCs were formed before and you had COVID-19, and if you want to send relief, you just go to the central bank, you request all those accounts that you require and the amount, and the money will come straight, either from the US or from whoever and whoever, straight to the person who needs the money. So that's number one. That's like, that will change everything. First of all, number one, when it comes to donor funding, when it comes to funding projects, these CBDCs accounts that everyone will have, hopefully, will actually enable that accountability. And since CBDCs have that, unifying aspect, you'll find that they will not be different. So I know guys are kind of scared about this New World Order. Guys are afraid, there'll be one currency. I know, but it's actually for a benefit, because you'll find that once these CBDCs have been formed, there'll be less, fluctuations of currency, because all these monies are connected, like CBDCs in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. So if you do a transaction here, it's posted on the ledger. If you do a transaction here, it's posted. So you can actually balance, it can do like a very nice balance of payments when it comes to the global scene, if you look at it that way. And then also for the common mwananchi, will be getting cash like instantaneously, yeah. So it will be very, very good. And you'll see over time, these CBDCs will be actually a cure for procurement issues, not only here in Kenya, but also abroad. So that one it's a new thing. The policies were passed in just June 2020. So let's give it maybe 5 years or so, but it's something that is coming. So guys should be aware about it.
Yeah. So global trade and things like that is going to look very different in a few years. Something like this gets implemented.
Yeah, and then remember, CBDCs is built on blockchain tech. So we will have smart contracts. So for example, if you want to trade between Kenya and China, you just put in the rules that were written by law. You just put it there. And then if somebody wants to trade between China and Kenya, they just follow those rules. And everything is okay. So over time,
you don't need...
You don't need any. Yeah, so you don't need. So imagine like over time, you'll find that when it comes to global trade, it's going to be like so awesome, because you'll find, for example, once you have subscribed to a certain CBDC, you just go there and open an account. For you to open an account, you're told, fill this form. It's basically agreeing to the rules of trade. Once you fill that form, that's it. Your account will just be like that.
Yeah.
Globally, everywhere. Yeah. So that's number one.
Okay.
Yeah. So the second part for trade is that there have been a trend of improving securitization laws around the world. Here in Kenya, we did it in 2017. Uganda did it last year. And these laws allow the conversion of assets to cash easily by maintaining these assets in one registry. So the only way to do that is, for example, as you speak right now, we have I don't know if you've seen the Movable Property Rights Act in Kenya, and you can access it in eCitizen. You can go there, do transfer of cars, do transfer of, assets and anything. But still there's that lag whereby you still have to go through middlemen. So now with that act in itself, we can actually just add blockchain on top. And with that, when you want to convert your assets, we just put that law of Kenya in the books. We put it in the code. After that, these things will just run automatically. Imagine, just like that. So this is something.
You're making my blood boil a little bit, because for me it sounds. To be honest, the question I'm asking myself, and I don't know if the question is the same question the audience is having, is so. Where do humans then come into this? Because it sounds like it's sort of like it takes automation to a whole new level.
Yeah, to a whole new level. Yeah,
right.
To a whole new level.
A whole new level. And I see its value. It's going to completely change. Whether it's trade, aid, like you talked about. People who need money are going to finally get the money. Small businesses are going to get their money instantly when they supply their things, and they're going to be able to continue with production and all that kind of stuff. I see everything that can do. It almost sounds to me like most of us are going to have to go find new jobs or get into math and law and all that, because supply. Think about the impact of something like this on supply chain. Today, you've got a lot of supply chain managers whose role is to do quality assurance, count things, make sure that it said 50 there, it's 50 that have shown up here. Blockchain is coming and is completely removing the need for supply chain management, for instance.
Okay, okay, I'm just using the trend that usually happens around is that once you have introduced a new tech, it improves an activity and then creates more activities. That's one thing I've noticed there. Because back in the day, we used to have small things like, imagine before internet, just before internet. There are so many parts where they were done by human beings and then they were replaced by the internet. Mm-hmm. But you'll see after that, it created more jobs. Yeah. So what will happen with this blockchain technology? It will actually increase the velocity of business transactions. Because remember, number one, before M-Pesa, the economy of Kenya was very small. Because you do like the 100 bob used to transfer maybe I think 15 times before the day ends. But right now you're doing over even maybe 100 transactions with M-Pesa. By 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., that same 100 bob has moved from Peter to John, John to Nani, all that. Yeah. So you find with blockchain, we'll actually increase now that number to maybe 10,000. So that velocity of business transaction will bring in more money and will bring in more business. So, well, yeah, if what will happen is, technology, you either get disrupted or, or you adapt. Yeah.
That's why we're having this conversation in the first place. Because I think people need to be ready. And people need even to be asking themselves, what should be true for me today? For instance, the business line that I'm in, will this business line still be relevant 10 years from now when blockchain exists? The way I do business today, will it still be the way business is done then? Or will I find myself completely irrelevant? And that's the whole point, right? It's about being ready. Because I can see the way time is flying, let's talk a little bit about digital identities and that whole aspect of data, the security of, because everything is on the internet now. My M-Pesa information, my phone, there's all manner of apps now, reading all manner of things from my phone. We've had all these things things of data leakage and data being stolen. You'll hear, I don't know how many millions of records were stolen from some US system. Is blockchain going to do anything for that space?
Okay, so number one, I think this is now the beauty. I'll rather say the beauty of blockchain is that blockchain technology has a way of separating the user from the data. Okay. That in itself wasn't there initially. Like right now, you'll find there was this issue for Cambridge Analytica. They were using social media data for politics, and also Google sharing location and data with other guys. The only issue that if you listen to these talks is actually that linking of data and the user. That's actually the biggest issue. And what Google is trying over time is to increase its security feature so that it can separate the data from the user. Now, blockchain itself as a tech has actually that feature.
Yeah.
So you'll find that over time, if this is implemented, we'll actually be able to use the internet without fear of somebody knowing who we are, where we live, who are we dating, or what business are we doing, all that. So that's actually the beauty of blockchain. Because if you look at the Bitcoin network system, you cannot actually tell who's doing what. You cannot tell who's doing the transaction of 10 million. You cannot tell who's doing this transaction. You cannot tell.